All right, so this is another video just to practice executing existing Python code. Hopefully you've been watching the playlist where I have several videos just to practice executing existing code. If you want to learn Python, usually most courses jump right into, including mine, jump right into teaching you the logic of Python. But it's a good idea to get familiar with the environment, just running a Python script. What does a Python script look like? What does it mean to execute an existing script? Because you can do that without having to write code, without knowing what Python is or how to use it, how to write it. You can run existing code. So that's the whole point. You might be working at a job as a manual tester or something. The company has automation. So you could run the existing automation without actually knowing how to write the automation. So I'm adding this series of videos about just getting started, just running existing stuff into my Python course. And I decided to share some of those here on YouTube. So I did not edit anything. I just took the video out, added this introduction and posted it. So this is a real video from my course, just getting you warmed up to execute code. So enjoy this video, but also watch the playlist if you haven't seen the whole thing, right? And give the video a thumbs up. That would mean a lot to me. Subscribe if you're new here. My name is Adman Skinfu. All I do is teach QA automation and software engineering and test, and I help people grow in this field. So hit me up, check out all the links in the description. Everything you need is there, including the code for this video. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact me by any means. Enjoy the video. All right, so we're going to go and run another automation framework to practice executing existing code. This time it's going to be robot framework. Earlier we did a PyTest framework. Now we're going to do a robot framework. And the idea of this video is not to show you about robot framework. We're not even going to talk about robot specifically. We're just going to talk about being able to follow instructions on how to execute the code and go ahead and execute the code. We're trying to go through the process of running code. So we're going to do the required processes, right? Basically downloading the code, creating a virtual environment, installing dependencies, and running it. In this particular case, we're going to go through the documentation, but in this particular case, we have to set some environment variables. And I'm going to go back and forth between Mac and Windows. So the first thing we do, as always, is download the code. If you're familiar with Git, go ahead and do git clone. So clone the code. If not, just click on this little drop down here and click on download zip. This will put it into downloads most likely. So I'm okay with that for now. What I noticed is on Windows, and depending on what kind of account you have, I guess, there's a green button and there's a white button next to it that says code. So for the download, try both of them. The white one has that download zip option. I just noticed that while working with a student. All right, so downloaded the code on Windows, the same exact thing. You go to the repo, the link is in the description. So you hit the drop down, download zip. This will put it into the downloads folder and you're going to say save. And now we're going to go to downloads and we're going to unzip it. Just let's set this up on a Mac and we go set it up on Windows. We come back, we execute on Mac and go back and execute on Windows. All right, so now here we extracted it. We have a folder. Now I don't want to keep stuff in my downloads folder. So I'm going to right click, copy, go to desktop, go to my projects, right click, paste item. All right, so I moved it to a folder where I want it. I want to be able to control where I work, where stay organized. I really like on every single video, I keep telling you that, right? Don't leave it on the download. I want you to consciously make the effort to go and stay organized, because that's another part of the practice, keeping your files in the right place, remembering where your files are, setting up the right projects in VS Code and such things. All right, so I moved it to my project folder because that's where I decided to work. You guys could have your own folder, whatever you want. All right, now I'm going to open Visual Studio Code or VS Code. I'm going to open the folder. So once VS Code is open, I'm going to go to File, Open Folder, and then I'm going to go find my project. So I'm going to go to Desktop, My Projects, Robot Framework right there, right? So I'm going to select that. I'm going to click Open. I'm not going to double click it. I'm just going to have the folder selected and it's going to open. So this is the file system for that project. It's the same file we see here. Okay, so now let's start with the instructions. So by the way, this test is for a dummy e-commerce site we practice on, right? This is like, I shouldn't call it dummy, but we don't process credit cards. Other than that, it's a real e-commerce site. This is a site we use for most of our automation practice. So it's an e-com site and there are real tests here. This framework, what we're doing right now, is part of my portfolio. If you check my portfolio, this is part of that. It's a real project with real stuff. It's a good project and feel free to learn it and then add it to your portfolio. 100% feel free to do that. I don't mind at all. And if you need my support with that, let me know. But it's a great portfolio project. It has API testing, database testing, Selenium, front-end testing with Selenium, okay? And mainly the framework itself is robot framework. So part of the prerequisites is you need access to the website. So if you're doing front end, you can just use my website, no problem. It's public, it's the front end. But if you want to run the whole suite, including the backend, you have to have your own website so you can have access to the backend, to the API, to the database and such. So here, one of the prerequisites is you should build your own website. And I have a few videos and I have a document on, I should add that document here, on how to build your own e-commerce website, the same one we use here for testing. So other than that, the next thing is basically just the steps. It's saying clone the code. We just did that. Even though we didn't clone it, we downloaded the zip. It says create a virtual environment. All right, let's go ahead and do that. We're going to open VS Code. We're going to open the terminal. So you click on this little thing here that opens up the terminal, and we're going to create a virtual environment. So Python 3 -m -vnv -rf. So this is the command to create the virtual environment, Python 3 -m -vnv, and the name of the virtual environment I want to create is vnv-rf. That's the choice I'm making right now. Hit enter. This will create the virtual environment, right? So if we go back to the instructions, create the virtual environment, then we're going to activate it. I'm on a Mac, so I'm going to use this command to activate it. I'm going to do source venv-rf bin activate. All right, as you can see, you see this here. That means it is activated. I can also do which Python, and that should show me the full path to the Python that's inside of my virtual environment, so I know it is active. Okay, clear. Now what? We activate the virtual environment. The next thing is we install dependencies. So this project has dependencies. Whenever you say requirements.txt, you know the project has dependencies. So we're going to click on requirements.txt. We don't have to, but I just want to show you. There's a bunch of libraries. There's robot frameworks. There's Selenium that's specific for robot, WooCommerce, PyMySQL, and some cryptography. So we are going to install those. As always, we could install it one at a time. You can do pip install the library, but that's not what professionals do. We have requirements.txt, and the instruction just says, hey, go ahead and install requirements.txt. So here it says to use Python 3 -m pip install. You can do that, or you can just do pip install. This is always safe. It's always a good idea to do it this way. So let me do it that way this time. So I'm going to do Python 3 -m pip install -r requirements.txt. This is going to go and install all the dependencies. Basically, everything that's in this requirements file in the specific version is going to install it. So we did that. We downloaded the code. We opened the code in VS Code as a project, and we created a virtual environment, and we installed our dependencies. That's what we did. So let's do the same exact steps on Windows. It's going to be pretty much the same. Actually, it's like literally the same. So in Windows, we already downloaded it. So let's go to downloads. In downloads, we see the zip. So I'm going to right click it. I'm going to do extract all. And I'm going to say extract right here. That's fine. I can select my final destination here if I want to, but I've just extracted here. I'm going to double click it once because inside it's going to have the same folder. I'm going to take that folder. I'm going to copy it, or I'm going to cut it. I should just cut it. Then I'm going to go to desktop and I have my projects. Inside of my projects, I'm going to paste it. All right. So I just moved it from downloads to my projects because again, I want to be organized. So I'm going to go to VS Code and I'm going to open the project. Open VS Code. Doesn't matter what project you have open. Just go to File, go to Open Folder, and find that folder. So I'm going to go to Desktop, My Projects, and Robot Framework, and select Folder. Voila, it's going to open that folder as its own project, as its own window here in VS Code. Now, time to create the virtual environment and install the dependencies, right? So far, if we come here, we did this part. We just cloned it. In this case, in the documentation doesn't say open it in VS Code because it's up to you what to. You can open it in PyCharm, you can open it in VS Code, you can open it in whatever IDE you want. I highly recommend VS Code, of course. All right, so create a virtual environment is pretty much the same thing. Let's go back to VS Code and open the terminal. So we're going to click here. Now on Windows, you have to pay attention. By default, it's going to open PowerShell. If it says PS at the beginning of it, it is PowerShell. If you're comfortable using PowerShell, you can, but PowerShell is one of the shells. On Windows, you have different shells. When you have a terminal window and when you're communicating with it, when you're sending it commands, those are shell commands, and there are different types. Depending on what type it is, the commands will be different. So PowerShell is its own thing, so it has its own command. I want you to do, if you're going to follow me around, I want you to do command prompt. Even though the commands we're going to run here, they're the same, I just want you to be aware that you watch a lot of videos, or whether in my course or YouTube, you see I'm doing commands on Windows, and it might not work on yours because you're not using the same terminal as me. So if it says PS here, or if it says PowerShell here, it's not the one you want, because there's different shells. There's PowerShell, Git Bash, command prompt, WSL, which is Ubuntu, blah blah. So we want to do command prompt, CMD. So select command prompt. We're going to open a new terminal. You have the tabs here. Open a new terminal, and it's command prompt. Now let's create the virtual environment. Python -m venv now the name of the virtual environment, VNVRF. That's the choice I'm making. Hit enter. It's going to create it. On Windows, I find it takes a little bit longer than normal. I don't know if it's my system or just normal on Windows, but it's going to take a little bit of time, maybe 30 seconds or so, and it's going to create it. Once it created, it's pretty much the same thing. We're going to go and install the dependencies or libraries, requirements.txt. So it got created. Now we're going to activate it. On Windows, to activate, you don't do source. You just do the name of the folder you created, the virtual environment, scripts. The tab doesn't work for some reason. The name of the virtual environment, scripts, activate.bat. Hit enter. Okay, system cannot find the path specified. VENV. I have a typo. I'm speaking and talking at the same time. There you go. It's activated. Now we can do pip install -r requirements.txt. It's going to install the dependencies. Okay, so we finished the setting up part. Downloaded the code, opened it in VS Code. We created a virtual environment and we activated it and we installed dependencies. And we're doing all of that in the built-in terminal. So there's nothing special about this other than it's built in into VS Code. We can do the same exact thing in terminal. We can open the terminal. We can CD into the project, to that folder, CD, desktop, my project, robot framework, and do everything we did there. The terminal here is exactly the same as the terminal here inside of the VS Code. It's just built in. So it makes it easy. We can see the code in the terminal at the same time. It's just a preference thing, how you like to work. Okay, so if you don't want to open it in VS Code, you don't have to. You can just run everything from the terminal, the standalone terminal. Okay, so we got all the dependencies. Now what does it say to run the test? Okay, it says, hey, this framework needs some environment variables, and it needs a bunch of environment variables, like 10 of them, more than that. So we need to set each one of them one at a time, but there's a trick. Instead of setting one environment variable at a time, you can create a file and you can just source that file, right? So we need an environment variable called base URL. We need an environment variable called browser. We need results, environment, all of that things, right? So instead of setting one at a time, there is this variables local.sh where we have all of them and we can set them at the same time. So let's fix the ones we just need for now. So this is my bootcamp site. So we don't need the bootcamp one. We're going to do demo store.spreadsql.com. The results is fine. The browser is Chrome. So database information and credentials, we don't need them right now because I just want to run it. I don't care if it passes or not. So we're going to put a bunch of dummy stuff here just so there is something. If we leave this brackets here, it won't work. So I'm just going to add a bunch of dummy stuff for all this database stuff, which means all our backend tests are going to fail. Okay, none of the backend stuff is going to work. Let me do this quickly. I think that's the last thing. All right, so all the variables have the right information. Now we're going to source it. Now we're going to do source. Let me show you really quick that those variables don't exist. To print variables, you're going to do env, hit enter. We're going to show you all the variables. Now I'm going to do source variables local.sh, and then I'm going to env one more time to list out the variables. You can see all the variables are set here. Okay, so now once we set the variables, what do we need to do to run the test? That's it. This is the command. So we can literally copy paste this to run the test. Copy the command. Let me clear this so you can see it, and I'm just pasting it, right? Hit enter. Voila. If you start seeing this line, that means robot framework is actually running. We're going to see a bunch of tests failing, a bunch of tests passing. There's about 16 tests here. I'm thinking like 10 of them are going to pass and 6 of them are going to fail. Every backend test is going to fail because we never gave it any real credentials. We never gave it any real database information. So of course it's going to fail. That's the expectation. All right, so we're just going to wait for this to finish. It should be just like under a minute. I think it doesn't even take a whole minute to run all 16 tests. Then we're going to go and just talk about it on Windows. This is pretty much it. If you get this far, that's really what I wanted you to do. There you go. So this is at the end. When robot framework finish, it will output a report like this. It even have a report in HTML. We could open it. If I hold control and open, for some reason it's not working, but just for fun, I can copy this and I can post it here. And this is a report. This is an actual HTML report in robot framework built in. I really do love robot framework. But for you, what I want is, as long as you see this part here, right, saying 16 tests, 10 pass, 6 fail, or something like that. It might be 16 tests, all 16 failed. I don't really care. What I care right now is the fact that you executed it. It actually ran. Okay, you might have everything run if the variables are not set correctly. That's okay. I really care about being able to navigate, create a virtual environment, and execute it. So what I want you to do is I want you to share a screenshot of this. You basically take this part here as much as you can, and on Mac Command Shift number 4 and just literally copy this part right here and share that screenshot. I'll have to see the fact that you include the prompt in your screenshot. So I want to see that you actually have the virtual environment activated. I'll have to see that, and I'll have to see this part here so I know the code was executed. So let's go to Windows. So on Windows, it's the same exact process, right? We already created a virtual environment, activated it, we installed the dependencies, we did that. Now the local variable. So what I just noticed right before this recording is local variables.bat is empty, so there's no variable. So let's skip that part. All the tests would fail, but that's okay. We're not going to set variables. I'll try to fix that. By the time you see it, by the time you get this code, you probably have variables here. Try to set it. So to set it, all you do is you just run the file. Let me do CLS to clear. All you do is just put the name of the file. So it's going to be variables local bat. Hit enter. That's it. It will set all the variables. To see the list of variables, you're going to do set. If you are in command prompt, if you're in PowerShell, that's not going to work. But if you're in command prompt, you're going to do set set. Hit enter. That would give you a list of all the variables that you have. Right now, the ones we need, they're not here. All right, now we're just going to run the test. You can just do robot, and hit the dot to say here, or you can do this command here. Even though this particular one is for Mac because you have the backslashes. I don't know if they're going to work on Windows, but all you do is robot and give it the folder name, or you can just do dot. So in this case, robot, and all the tests are in this test folder. So robot is the command, right? And then the tests are in this folder. So I can do tests, hit enter, and it will execute. Okay, right now everything is failing. I'm expecting everything to fail. As you can see, 16 tests, 16 failed. That's really what I want to see. I want to see from you. All you got to do is put all of this in one line without like, in fact, I'll update this so you don't have to deal with this part here. It's just robot, Python pass that, variable that, blah, blah. Just one straight line. What this is a skip character. It's basically telling the system right in front of it, there's a new line character. Ignore it. This whole thing is just one long line. There's no new line. The new line here is for us visually to make it look good. Okay, so that's pretty much it. If you were able to execute this, share a screenshot in the community. I'll love to see it. You can do it in the Discord community, in the free Discord community, or in the private community in our Access Pro. Whatever you're accessing this, depending on how you're watching this, go ahead and share it. I'd love to see it. And all the links you need are in the description. And if you have any questions, I'm here to help, of course.